Hey, what's going on? I'm DJ TLM, the Last Mohican. I teamed up with Pioneer DJ to film a couple of conversations. Now, on my own channel, I've talked a lot about my history as a DJ, how I came up. And what I noticed over the years when I talk to DJs is a lot of DJs' history is a little bit different. And I know plenty of DJs, but I don't actually know their origin story. So what we're gonna do today is find out a little bit more about a DJ. And I've known her for quite some time now. But there's a lot of questions that I have that I want to ask because I want to learn more, and I'm going to give you the chance to learn more at the same time. So I'm here with DJ Jane Doe. Let's go. First off, it's been a while. We haven't seen each other in, I don't know how long.
It's been quite a while, yeah.
I mean, we ran into each other like once, I think like a year ago in the supermarket.
Right.
That's the last time.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't live in the same city anymore. But I mean, like I said, we've known each other for quite some time. And I just realized I know you. I've seen you DJ. I've heard the mixtapes. I know the name. But beyond that, there's actually quite a lot I don't know. So first things first, DJ Jane Doe. Where did the name come from?
Well, it took me actually quite a while to figure out what name I should use because I was also dancing back then when I started DJing. And I wanted a name that would tell people that I am a woman, but I wouldn't want it to have the emphasis on being a woman. Right. So, and I wanted to have it, a little bit of a mysterious vibe to it, kind of.
Right.
But I didn't find a name. I couldn't think of anything, and when I let it rest, it just hit me one day and was like, Jane Doe is the perfect name because you don't know the exact identity, you know,
right.
And it's still, and you also can see it's Jane, you know.
Of course, and was that, so that was your first DJ name?
Yeah.
Or were there like some tryouts before that?
No. No, I did think about some, you know, shall I spill it? Shall I spill the tea?
Yeah, like.
You know, just really corny stuff like DJ Lady R or DJ, you know, Miss something. And I just couldn't. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. So I just let it rest. And that was it.
That's the thing. If it's not for you, the feeling has to be right. Like a lot of people ask me questions about their DJ name, what name they should come up with. And I always tell them, like, find something that like fits you. It doesn't have to be a catchy name. There's plenty of like famous DJs out there. If you read the name now, you're like, it sounds familiar. But if you never heard of them before, their name wasn't like anything in particular.
No.
When was this? So the DJ name, and was that at the start of your DJ, not even career, but at the start of DJing, or did you just start and did the name come later?
Yeah, I started first. I started DJing first because I had no clue. I just wanted to learn how to mix and just do that because I just love music. As I was said, you know, I was dancing. Music was everything. So I just wanted to learn how to mix. That's it.
Right.
And I think after a year or so, year and a half, word got around. And someone was like, hey, don't you want to DJ, you know, at a party? So then I had to start thinking about a name.
Because that was never the plan.
No, it wasn't.
You just wanted to try for yourself.
I just wanted to learn how to mix because I just loved the fact to mix.
But was there an inspiration for that? Like, did you see or hear anyone that made you think like, hey?
Yeah, definitely you.
Okay, that's not like scripted. I did not know that. So wow, okay, dope.
Yeah, I saw you back then with Maniac.
Yeah.
You know, and the way you guys were DJing, I was just like blown away. You guys were so fast with the vinyl, not thinking that I could ever do that, but I was just so intrigued. I want to know how to mix.
Wow.
That's it. So
I understand the feeling though. I mean, I had the same thing when I first saw the Rocksteady Crew video, Hey You.
Yeah.
And I saw like the hip hop elements. That was like, okay, I don't even know exactly what it is, but I want to try to do that, you know?
Of course, I've seen like many DJs and DJ Premier, you know, stuff like that, of course. But like you guys were the first that I actually saw live.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How is this even Can I curse?
If not, we'll bleep.
I just wanted to practice. I didn't have no records. I didn't have no turntables. I didn't have anything. So
what was your first setup?
my first setup was actually a setup by Newmark. So two turntables by Newmark and a mixer. But it took me a couple of years actually. It took me like 4 or 5 years before I actually had a setup at home. So I started DJing, practicing, and having gigs without having a setup at home. I had records.
So how did you do that then? Where did you practice?
Well, I had 2 spots downtown in Arnhem, the place I grew up in. I was born at too. One of the spots was called Willem 1.
Right.
I don't know if you know it.
Yep.
And a good friend of mine, DJ Chaos, Violators,
Yep.
he always took his records downtown for me, like 3 crates or something.
Oh, wow.
So I could practice. So the setup was there, and I could just like go every week, you know, from
dope.
home in the evening, go over there like 2 or 3, 4, sometimes hours until the place would close. You know, some people were practicing with dancing, and I was DJing in between. So actually, I'm really thankful for him.
That's
that
big
he
though,
took-
like
yeah.
really doing that specifically so you could practice.
Yeah, that was like, it's really...
Hey man, so it's always great to hear when you have DJs who are actually just there to share, and in this case, like not even like share some knowledge, but like share their crates. So
His
you can
records,
practice.
you know,
Yeah.
he just shared his records, and on a weekly basis, I was able to practice and practice. I was 16, I believe, 16, 17. So thanks to him, I was able to, you know, buy my records, one
Yeah.
record at a time, because
Yeah.
that was expensive also for me. So, I mean, I was, 16.
It was really expensive.
It was really expensive.
Yeah.
So to be able to fill 1 hour in a club, that's also when, you know, when they asked me, don't you want to DJ? I was like, I don't know if I have enough records, you know.
Right.
It's I don't know. So
Yeah. Especially for us playing like hip hop and R&B, and for people who like don't play hip hop and R&B, we use a lot more songs
yeah,
compared to, well, nowadays it's maybe a little bit different, but especially then, like house DJs,
yeah,
I would talk to house DJs and they would like have like one little record bag and they're like, yeah, I'm going to a gig, and you're like, wait a minute, that's it? And
Yeah.
I would come with like 3 crates. We play songs like a bit faster. So wait, so after like a year and a half, you did your first gigs, but did you have a chance to practice for people, or was it your first time for people in a club?
My first time for people was in a club.
Ooh.
So I actually practiced in the club as well.
Because that's a total different animal right there. Like practicing by yourself or practicing for, like not even practicing,
Yeah.
you were playing for people.
Yeah.
And this was like a big club.
Yeah, pretty big. Yeah, pretty big. I mean, you know, the Opera. It had many names. There's one big club in Arnhem, like the Opera, Manhattan also.
Okay, yeah, I know
You
that
know,
name.
so it's you know, it's a pretty big club. But I was, you know, warming up. So
Yeah. But still, how was
But
that?
still.
How was that feeling though?
oh man, so nervous.
Yeah.
So nervous, and you know, I mean, I still have my nerves coming up when I start DJing. It you know, when I'm beginning, it's over, but you know, it's
But like every gig, you feel that before every gig.
yeah, some kind of tingling, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like it's not a nervousness out of fear to fail, right? I mean, you,
No.
because you know how to DJ.
It's more like what's the word?
Anxious, I think.
Anxious.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Was it automatic for you to also like learn how to scratch? I mean, I know you. Did that start for you like at the beginning, like when you learned to DJ, or was it like first learning how to mix and then adding scratching?
Now for me, it was just basically just a mixing.
Yeah.
Because back then I thought that scratching was for wonder kids. It wasn't meant for me. I couldn't do it ever. I thought, you know, this is some kind of talent you must have to be able to do it. So I think I started scratching when I was 20, 21, maybe.
Okay.
Really late,
Yeah.
actually. Because of that reason. It was so basic for me. I was like, oh, no, I could never do that.
Yeah.
But then I started practicing. I got help, you know, advice from several DJs, you know, DJ Rocket, DJ Chainsaw, you know,
Right.
all of them.
Yeah.
So DNS also, by the way. I had a couple of sessions, practiced, and when I really started to practice, I was like, at some moment I could actually do some type of, scratches.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I know.
I was like, what? I can do this.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I started at 15, maybe, because back then I had the time to really practice in my bedroom and stuff.
Right.
And when I got older, of course, I would be working and, schedule's much busier. So I was like, oh man, if I knew this when I was younger,
right,
it would have gone way further for me. I would have even tried to participate with DMC maybe. That would be something I would really wanted to do back then. But I always thought it's never for me.
That's funny. I never even thought of that, how it could be like an intimidating thought to do scratches. I mean, for me, it was the thing that actually pulled me in when I first saw it in a video. Okay, I need to try to learn how to do that. Same thing with Rocket, Herbie Hancock, having DST do those scratches, hearing that sound, I was like, I want to try that. And I heard it on records, of course. I had
that too.
All of the rap groups had DJs.
Yeah.
And every record had scratches, so you would hear them. But we didn't have the video, so you'd hear the sound. And it kind of intrigued me, but I never thought of it as being intimidating. So that's funny to hear.
Well, actually, I have exactly the same, because the record that got me there, that I really needed to learn how to scratch, was the intro from EPMD. That DJ Scratch, the outro of that intro. The scratch he did there, the sound he was making, it sounded so simple, but then again, so hard. But I had to learn how to. So that was exactly the moment when I heard those scratches. I was like, I need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
And so that's how I started.
Nice. And after that first gig, did you know straight away, okay, I'm going to continue to do this?
No.
It was still just
I had fun.
It was fun, and that was basically it.
Yeah, I had fun. I got better at it.
Yeah.
I got more gigs. And
okay, so you did immediately start to play more.
Yeah, I did start to play more, but I just had fun with it.
And that happened because of the first gig, because people saw you there, and that led to more bookings, or?
I don't know if it was because people saw me there, but I think it's more because the word spread around that I was DJing around town. So
could you remember if there was a specific reaction from people in the crowd seeing a female DJ?
In the beginning?
Yeah, even at probably the first gig, you're not thinking about that because you're too focused on actually just mixing and everything.
Yeah.
Especially in the hip hop and R&B scene, we didn't see female DJs.
No.
I knew about some house DJs, like Isis. You heard the name, but I never saw hip hop and R&B female DJs at the time.
True. Yeah, I mean, of course, I've seen some faces, people walking by the booth, and then, the basic, or, just real quick, maybe. Or when I enter a club, the bouncer, maybe, And
you're like, I'm the DJ.
I'm the DJ. You're the DJ.
Yeah.
Or they automatically assume I'm the dancer, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, maybe a look one or two.
And I mean, I said hip hop R&B, but was it hip hop R&B or was it just hip hop first? Or?
No, it was hip hop R&B. Yeah, in the clubs that I played at was mostly just urban music.
Yeah. You did the mixtape thing. And for me, that's also...
Well, a little.
I mean, not like I'm saying you did hundreds of mixtapes, but I remember you did the mixtape thing as well.
Right.
Was there a specific thing that led to that? I'm going to do mixtapes now, or?
No, it was just basically to show people what I'm about.
Right.
But it was for me really hard to give them one thing, because when I play at this club with this kind of audience, I would, it really differs.
Yeah.
Do I always play what I love, or do I play what, So there's so many things I have to think about, and then I was like, you know what, I also want to show people what I just truly love doing or listening to.
Yeah.
And then I started doing some of those mixtapes, and
that's not the only aspect. Like myself, you also DJ'd for acts,
Right. Yeah.
live acts. So that's another aspect of DJing. I've seen you with a couple of acts. I believe they were just a couple of different rap groups from Southeast, but I'm not sure if that was the case.
True.
I'm
Emo
thinking,
Bracco.
you did Emo Bracco?
Yeah, I was the DJ of Emo and Bracco. I also did gigs for Dret en Krullen, of course, because we were with the
Right.
same label.
Right.
Samensterk Records. Also Rex and Undercover, Gikkels. Also did a few shows for I'm Aisha.
Yeah.
So yeah, back then, yeah, I did a couple of live shows. I loved doing that.
And what led to that? Someone just was like, we need a DJ, or
Yeah, I started with Emo and Bracco because they needed a DJ for the Grote Prijs van Nederland
Right.
contest. That's when my name came up. Someone said, you know, Jane could do it.
yeah.
And when I listened to the music, because that was for me very important, of course, I was instantly their #1 fan.
Yeah.
Emo and
They
Bracco.
won that year, right?
They won.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I was at the Paradiso then,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, definitely, I want to do this. I love your music. Let's go. And I also wanted to be able to participate in making the show. So I had, you know, also my freedom in that was important. So we became one group.
Right. So it's way more than just being like what you see sometimes. You'll have a live act,
Yeah,
and basically they'll need someone to press play.
right. That
This
wasn't it.
this
No.
was not that. This was
Yeah.
like really being the DJ for the group.
Yeah,
And I mean, I love the experience as well.
yeah,
It's totally different than the club thing.
yeah.
Even though sometimes you do shows in clubs. And did you do any of the like scratches for any of the tracks as well?
Yeah, I did a couple
Right.
for Emo and Bracco.
Yeah. So you got to do those live as well.
Yeah.
Hey man.
That's the best part, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, to do the scratches live, and also just the interaction with the audience, or you know, grabbing the mic,
Yeah.
everything.
Did you do backings as well, or
Yeah, I also did backings. Yeah. Mhm.
do you also do a lot of MCing when you normally DJ?
Not a lot, no. Not a lot.
Because
It
you're not afraid of
depends.
the mic.
I'm not afraid of the mic. I'd rather have the mic actually, but sometimes I'm just really too busy DJing, or there's already an MC over there and who does the job well.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can take the mic myself. Yeah, it really depends on the mood actually.
Right. And when you're playing, do you have a prepared set?
No, never.
It's always freestyle.
It's always freestyle. I do have, of course, some, you know, a couple of tracks I do more often,
Mhm.
which I can fall back on.
Right.
It's more of a standard comfort zone for myself when I, you know, go blank, or because I also have that, you know, sometimes I go blank, or I don't know what to do, or the thing that I'm doing, the audience is not feeling. So
Yeah.
what now, you know? So I have a couple of those to get me back on track,
Of course.
to get going.
You know you have certain tracks that, okay, if I play this,
I know I have like 2 seconds to breathe,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Even from the vinyl days, I mean, it's even trickier with the vinyl. Like, you're going through the same crate like 3 times, hoping that at the 3rd time you'll find a record, but like you do some preparation. You do know what you have in your crates when you go there, right?
I do prep my crates. That's
Yeah.
what I did before also. I do it with my Serato as well. I would go into my my records, build my crate again for every night, you know.
Right.
Take some records out, put some new records in, put them on, you know,
BPM or alphabetic?
no, not alphabetic, genre,
Okay.
you know. And that's how I prep my set, and the rest is just depending on the mood, the people, the party, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Same here. How do you feel about playing tracks twice? So, for instance, if a DJ played before you and they played a certain track, do you still play that same track?
No,
No. Okay. Just something
No.
that popped into my head.
no,
We've both been at plenty of parties where you'll have like 3 DJs playing the same.
no, I
Yeah.
won't.
I stay away from that as well. Like
No.
I believe we have plenty of music, so
Enough.
I'll find a different track.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point that DJing was like the full-time thing, or did you always combine it? Like you said, you were working also.
Yeah, I did have a time, a couple of years where I DJed full time.
Right.
After I had my daughter, actually, and that was perfect because I could take her to school, you know, take her pick her up from school, just
Right.
work in the weekends. And that was perfect, actually. So I did have a couple of years doing that.
That's one of the great things, that you have the option to like create your own schedule.
Yeah.
I definitely did that. I mean, my oldest is the same age as yours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they basically grew up.
Together.
I mean, I haven't seen her in a long time, but I'm guessing she's almost mom's size as well.
Yeah.
Or is she already
Well, she's like this close.
getting
So,
there?
yeah,
Wow.
she's getting there.
Yeah, it's crazy fast. So that's one of the pluses, of course. Like, I love that I could create my own schedule. But then at a certain point, you hit the age that they have to go to school. How is that combo?
Also, amazing, actually. You know, it gets hard, of course. It
Yeah.
does get hard sometimes, because my weekends were basically coming home at 6, 7, 8, 9-ish in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday, my daughter goes to school, so I would be up at 6, 7-ish. So you would have to... Also, when I came home from a gig, sometimes I would just not sleep and have breakfast with her.
Yeah.
And then, you know, go to sleep after, take a nap
So familiar.
for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And just go back to business, being a mom, prepping the next gig, you know, or 2 or 3, whatever.
Right.
And then on Mondays, it's back again to 6 in the morning, getting up,
Same thing.
6:30.
Doing a gig, coming home, taking a shower, and then making breakfast.
Yeah, but I loved it. I
Yeah.
mean, I loved being able to spend that time
Right.
with her. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it allowed me to see my, at least with my oldest, with both, I got to see them take their first steps because I was there, you know?
Mhm.
That's just the thing. I also know, like, if you have that 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you're going to be away all day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different thing. You might miss out. So from that perspective, I love the way we could like just organize that, you know?
Yeah.
Are there specific DJs you talked about here in the Netherlands, but like overall, like DJs you would consider your favorite DJs, and what do you feel makes a DJ a good DJ?
It's no secret my favorite DJ is Jazzy Jeff. One of my favorite DJs, because he's just, I feel like Jazzy Jeff is the DJ. He's just basically
I know.
everything I feel a DJ should be able to do, you know?
Yeah.
And also his stance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just so chill but so skilled.
Yeah.
You can put him in any room, every country. It doesn't matter what
Right.
time. It doesn't matter what people.
Yeah.
He will always deliver
Yeah.
in such a unique way. Also of choosing the records that he's playing. I think those are the elements that makes a good DJ for me. Is also the skills, of course. I would
Mhm.
love to see a DJ to be able to scratch.
Right.
But it's not a must. You know,
Mhm.
it's not a must. You need to have a good record taste or a good taste of music. You know, being able to see the room, see the people, see the vibe.
Yeah.
And adapt to it.
Right. Do you watch what happens nowadays, like with DJs, quote unquote, like newer DJs?
Yeah, a
do-
little. Yeah.
Do you
of
follow
course.
stuff like Red Bull 3 style?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I follow, not thoroughly, but I do see a lot of stuff coming by from Red Bull, and there are a lot of good DJs out there. Whoa.
It's evolved. You can definitely tell. I mean, of course, before the internet was like it is, we didn't see DJs from other places. So
Right.
maybe there were already like really great DJs, but I think the tech has also evolved
Definitely.
creativity.
Yeah, definitely.
So how are you with tech? You talked about using DVS. So is that still your favorite thing? Like using Serato with turntables, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, Serato is still my favorite thing.
But we're in the
Basically,
Netherlands.
yeah.
So
For me, it's still what I prefer.
Right.
I'm able to DJ with a USB stick,
yeah.
but it's not my preference because I go crazy scrolling, or you know, it's just too much for me. So
Yeah.
my preference really goes to turntables
Yeah.
and my Serato and my mixer. You know, being able to have that.
And when you go out and play, you bring your own mixer, or
Hardly, no,
okay.
hardly. If I really have to, I would. Yeah.
What mixer are you using? Just the normal club mixer, just like the.
No, the Rain 70.
Okay, but most of the time they'll have it for you?
No, no, no.
No.
I have a rider, of course, but I don't bring that one. No.
Okay, yeah, like a lot of times I'll bring my mixer because I know that's going to be the harder part, or they'll have to rent it. So most of the times if I have like, I'll just put the S9 in the bag, just have it with me. Turntables is not a problem, so that part is cool. So for me, it's still the favorite setup as well, but I did go wireless though. Like I'm on phase now.
Okay.
Loving it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's nice.
I've had too many issues with like turntables in clubs that you come in and like something's not working.
Right.
And music wise, are you staying in tune with music? Like you have a daughter, so I assume you're hearing a lot of the new stuff. I mean, I know for me at home, I'm hearing all of the new young rap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sounding really old when I say that because I stay in tune with new releases, but somehow like a 13-year-old comes up with like names that I still never heard of. Some DJs will just stick and call everything new not good.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's my thought as well. Like there's a lot of dope stuff coming out.
There's a lot of dope stuff, yeah.
So anything in particular you're really into when it comes to?
Well, I still, of course, check a lot of music.
Yeah.
Check a lot of music, but and there's also a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
But on different genres like hip hop, R&B, I love different genres of
Yeah.
music. Most people know me as a hip hop DJ.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing I listen to.
No.
I also love like reggae a lot.
But you've been kind of you
I
have
the
kind of
hip-hop
been
stamp,
stamped.
Yeah.
Again, we're similar there. You get that people know you from a certain thing, and then they think that's it.
Yeah, but actually, you know, I'm also a 90s R&B type of girl.
Right.
Girly girl, you know?
Right.
I love dance hall. There's just so much. And yeah, I mean, also the new music right now, same stuff. Hip hop wise, there are a lot of great new artists out there.
1000%.
Which I did not know about, or so I think it's very important to keep listening.
Yeah.
Because the new music actually really inspires me a lot.
To DJ as well?
To DJ as well, to try new stuff, you know.
Because I remember there was a time, if I'm not mistaken, that you also were kind of into looking at making music, making beats?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember that, but is that still a thing, or did anything happen with that? Because I only remember you talking about it. You're like you were kind of dabbling in like making beats. I don't remember what you had. You had something.
I think back then it was Reason or Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
I believe something like that. I was definitely trying to make music because I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I also play the piano, so I can, you know, make some stuff, but I was too busy.
So you can actually play.
Yeah. I'm no Beethoven.
No, okay, but yeah.
Yeah, I can play. I don't play as much anymore, but my
making
daughter
beats?
is. Oh, making beats?
Yeah.
No, that's been on the back burner for quite a while.
Okay.
To be honest, but.
But like you said, the piano is a thing, or your daughter is playing, or?
Yeah, my daughter is actually playing better piano than I do, so the music is over there right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was really the time because I also had an MPC 2000.
See, I knew you had more. I remember.
Yeah, the time. It was for me. It was really the time because I also had my daughter already.
Yeah.
Then I had the DJ and I had my job. And when you make music, you want to just zone out, have no time. You know, no time frame. Like I have to be ready in 1.5 or 2 hours. And so that's why that has been on the back burner for me. The
spontaneous thing is hard when you have children. You can't just be inspired by something you see and say, hey, I'm going to make beats for the next 12 hours. Yeah. I mean, we don't have that luxury anymore. No. I did notice that. You have to like really plan it in between. I try whenever I can though, but it's a juggle. I mean, especially with two.
Yeah.
It's a juggle. But once they get a little bit older, more freedom will come back into play. So that's a cool thing.
Exactly.
But talking about right now, have you been dabbling in the world of streaming as a lot of DJs have?
No, not at all.
No?
Actually, no.
Any reason?
Actually, yeah. I've done a couple of streams, but I always wanted to stream already.
Yeah.
From home.
Yeah.
And back then I didn't have the right equipment for it yet, so I wanted to invest in that, and then Corona hit. I was thinking, yeah, well, should I rush it now, do the streams now exactly? No, then I was like, this year I'm gonna focus on improving my skills. The stuff that I normally don't have the time for, because I'm so busy and I have my gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like cleaning up my library, or, you know, just really time consuming. Also the practicing, just daily practicing, like 3 or 4 hours. That's something I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna jump into the streaming world right now because it's not necessary for me. Mm-hmm. But I just take a couple steps back. Yeah. And focus.
Yeah, I mean, you will notice, you've probably noticed, like if you don't play for a while, you will get rusty.
Yeah, definitely.
It's something we'll never unlearn how to DJ.
No.
But you have to like sharpen the blade.
Yeah.
To go at it. So now, of course, like, so luckily you also are working, so the pandemic didn't hit you.
No.
Like it hit some DJs.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I had the same thing with all the video stuff I do. I mean, we both know plenty of DJs that had this as a full-time thing. So this last year has been really,
crazy.
Really something different. So a lot of people have jumped into the streaming world. I've been doing a lot of streaming myself as well, but it is something you eventually will probably add, right?
Well, you can leave the probably. I will add that. Yeah, definitely. I will be streaming from home or my own place,
right?
And doing my own thing. Yeah.
Your song selection. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of DJs that play it like really safe. So you can, like, especially with some of the DJs you know, you can tell before they start to play, you can tell someone, okay, this is what they're going to play. Because you already know that's what they play every week. How is that for you? Were you someone who was always like trying to play the newest stuff as well? Or did you have like something that was really you and you knew other DJs didn't play, but you always wanted to play that? Or was it kind of a combination of?
Yeah, I think I would have to say a combination, because I was known for the fact that I would play tracks that the normal DJs would not play.
Right.
Because I just love to find a B-side with, you know, that song, because, I have to explain. I feel like I have to explain a B-side right now.
It's crazy, right?
Because it's so significant to the difference, because when you went to the record store, you would only have a certain amount of those records.
Yeah.
Or you had to have a connection that someone would leave the records for you to, you know, because they know you'll be there, listen to them and take them home.
It took me a while to get there.
You know?
Yeah.
To get that connection. Otherwise, you were out of luck. You would not have that record with that B-side on it that had that track.
Right.
So that's your loss.
And you have to wait for maybe a couple of weeks before they get a couple of new ones, hopefully.
And then seeing like the dope DJs, the bigger DJs like DJ TLM, you know, in the club playing that B-side, knowing that he was in the record store the Saturday before me, you know. Yeah. And so it was really a thing to go to the record store, be on time, have all the records that you dig. Yeah. And have that one record or those two records that other DJs didn't have.
Yeah.
And play. And, you know, so I was also being very protective of my shit. Yeah. Because it takes time, effort.
Yeah. And I mean, the cost is there, so you want to invest in the right tunes. I mean, especially for people outside of the Netherlands. And I didn't realize that until I went to the States. Like, we were paying in euros, like at a certain point, like $12.99, around 13 for
a single,
for 12-inch single. Yeah. And then I got to go to record stores in Brooklyn, and I was paying $5. I was like, wait, that's like, it was like €4 or something. I was like, I can get 3 for what I can get like 1 for in Amsterdam. So it was a pretty expensive investment that you had to make, especially if you wanted to do tricks and you had to buy 2 copies, you know?
Let's not forget about that.
The doubles. I mean, luckily nowadays we don't need to do that anymore. You just have one track and you can just load it into your decks and you're good to go. You got to experience that too, like the whole record store thing. To me, I think it is a significant thing. I talked about this when I first first invited you to a link up. I talked about that. Like how DJs would usually meet at the record store. A lot of DJs would see each other at record stores.
True, yeah.
And that's where you could talk about, like, hey, where you're playing this weekend. And you
Right.
knew about which clubs, or other DJs could also inform you, like, yeah, I played at a club there, and that audience is really
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that could help you out. If you go to that
True.
club, then you know, like, hey, wait a minute, I've heard about this club, and you know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I mean, so basically, I'm not gonna call you the female TLM. That sounds weird, but like, there's so many aspects that are really the same. That's
It's a
crazy.
compliment, though. I'll take that.
But it's crazy. Like so many things are the same. So I'm just gonna go down the list now. Did you ever do radio?
Yeah.
See, there we go. Like, where did you do radio?
Get Mix Radio in Southeast.
How did I forget? I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've actually been my guest.
I've been your guest. Now that you say the name, I'm like, wait a minute. Does that still exist though?
It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, a couple of years I've had my own show there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that was fun. I would love to do radio again.
All right, so magically we have something that appeared right here on the table. Do you remember this? I mean, you started before this was released, so do you remember this and your first encounter with this?
Man, this is even actually, of course, yes, I remember this, but this is actually one of the better CDJs or CD players, I must say. I started DJing with, because I also, yeah, I had other CD players that you still had to press the plus and the minus to
Right.
get it pitched.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
this was really a breath of fresh air.
Right. Yeah, I remember before this we had, you may have seen those in the club as well, those top loaders by Pioneer. They were a little bit smaller, but like
Right.
it will go up, you have to put the CD in, and on some
With the
occasions if you
mini jack.
ejected,
Yeah.
yeah, and on some occasions if you ejected, the CD would actually fly out. I've had that happen, like launch it through the club like a UFO. Because what we used to do with that was like, we had certain songs that we found online because you could already like get music online, and you would find a song that you couldn't get on vinyl yet.
Right.
And especially when I was playing with Monty and we wanted to like play that new song, we were like, okay, let's burn it to a CD. But first it was with those like older CDJs. And then this came out, and this is actually a special one. It is the CDJ 1000, but this is actually the pre-release model. So this is the one before it was actually available in the stores. So this is a piece of history. I don't think there's too many of these around in the entire world. So yes, actually we have to, so we can now say that we've actually touched, I've used this.
Used it.
Cool. I didn't even know it was this one. So even more than that, I can add that now. I've actually used this specific player. This is the one that I've seen. I remember reaching out to Pioneer because we were recording an album that was actually with Monty, Brainpower, and Dice Cream called ADHD. And we wanted to do some scratches with like our own vocals. And you couldn't do that with vinyl then. And this was like the first time that we were like, okay, you could actually do some scratches with something you did yourself. So recording your own vocals and then just like scratching with it. Now, of course, feeling wise, it's not the same as a turntable. And so you've played on maybe not this model, but you've played on CDJs in the club before.
I think, yeah, I've played
And
on this
probably with
model.
the 1000.
I've played on a lot of models, a lot of CDJ, yeah.
So how was that experience coming from turntables and then?
Well, I must say scratching for me on CDJs is hard.
Yeah?
It's still hard for me. It's still not the same as vinyl.
But you can manage the basics, right?
I can manage the basics, yeah. That's no problem. But I still prefer vinyl.
But the funny thing is the basics are still more than what a lot of DJs do now.
True.
They'll do no scratching at all.
True.
So yeah, I definitely remember this. At first it was just for, as a studio tool, I was like, wow, I can scratch with anything. Like, okay, grab the mic, let's say some crazy stuff and do scratches. But afterwards I did also like end up using them in the clubs on occasion. But this takes me back. This is actually ridiculous looking at this now, and I just used the new one, the 3000. This looks like a bicycle compared to like a Ferrari with that 3000. Even though this is still high tech, but
Yeah.
I didn't even remember it had like such a small screen and everything.
Yeah, this was definitely a breath of fresh air and made a lot of things possible for a lot of DJs, artists, everything.
And a lot of DJs here switch though. This is basically the cause of a lot of DJs stepping away from turntables, especially here.
Yeah.
Like when you talk to DJs from other countries, you can tell that their history is a little bit different. But like, I remember a lot of DJs like even selling all of their vinyl and like switching. I was in shock when I first heard it. Like some DJs I knew that had like a big collection. They're like,
Yeah, sold it.
yeah, sold it. Well, you know how long it takes to like build a collection like that. I mean, you still have your vinyl?
Of
all
course,
of it?
I would never, no.
Even if I would never DJ again, which won't happen, but even
Right.
if I would, then I would just use it as like a bookcase, and it would be like,
Yeah, for me as well. I would never, no.
I can't imagine doing that.
No.
At all.
No.
When it comes to tech, you are on DVS, but you've been through basically all these steps as well.
Mhm.
Now for my channel, I have to stay in tune with all of the new like tech releases. Are you into that at all, or are you just like, yeah, I have my setup,
No, of course.
I'm cool, or
No, of course, I stay up to date.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious about tech stuff. I also like, I'm a Inspector Gadget, I call
Right.
myself. You know, I love those things. So I definitely stay up to date.
yeah,
Yeah, but my preference is exactly the same, actually. I also transferred from vinyl to CDs,
yeah,
but just for a short while, because after that, Serato Scratch Live came,
yeah,
and I could do both.
right.
You know, I could do both because I was also, I'm being able to DJ with CDJs was fine for me. It was just the scratching that I couldn't really do.
Right.
So I was really happy when DVS was able to, yeah.
Yeah, and you said it, like CDs. I remember like people coming in with their trolley with like CDs. I tried that for a while. I was like, yo, you have to go through all of, yeah, that feeling was a little bit different. Now the new one doesn't even have CD anymore, the 3000.
No, I know, yeah.
It's like, even they're like, yo, come on. That's not a thing
That's
anymore.
over and done with.
That's over and done with, so we're totally done with that. But that new one feels dope though. The 3, like for scratching.
Haven't touched it yet, no. Yeah, it does? For scratching?
Yo, like the 2000 is pretty nice. It's different than this, but like that 3, I think I did 3 or 4 live streams in a row with that thing. Like, yo, this feels great. I mean, it's not vinyl. Let's not.
But good to know.
But
Well,
yeah,
good to know,
the feeling was like really smooth and reactive. So it's, I mean, I'm lucky I have the connection so I can like try the stuff out.
1 out of 13.
Of course, we don't know when we'll be back to a normal type of situation, but do you have any special plans or ideas for when DJing will open back up?
Well, I have my first gig for this year. So, I mean, yeah, I have a gig.
You guys are booking already?
I got a gig in September for a festival by the creek. Just let's pray it will. Yeah, it's by the Creek Festival, September 18th.
So in September we'll be playing at the same festival.
No.
Yeah.
For No Diggity or what?
Yeah.
Really, the same stage?
Yeah.
Look at here.
I heard the name. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds really familiar. September also sounds familiar. At this moment, I believe that's my first gig this year too.
Well.
So wow.
Okay, so
that is funny.
That's something I'm looking really forward to, you know.
Yeah.
And other than that, I will just be focusing on my skills because I've been yelling for a couple of years that I'm participating with the Red Bull 3-style battle.
Ah.
And I'm a woman of my word, so
that is something you definitely still want to do.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how's that been? Have you? How's your experience with like making routines? Actual.
Not as much
Yeah.
because I haven't been busy as a turntablist like that,
Right.
or participating with contests. I've done DJ contests, but that would be more of a like a dissing
Right,
DJ
right, right, right,
contest,
right.
you know?
A couple of quick disses and then you
couple
do a
of
bit
yeah,
of, yeah.
just a quick DJ contest. But as I said, if I could, I wanted to participate with the DMC battles back then.
Yeah.
And that was like way too far from my bed show. I was like, okay. And then the Red Bull 3 style battles came along and I was like, okay, but I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this and just make sure that I get my routines in check. And yeah, I've been building a routine for like a year and a half now.
Nice.
Just taking my time, you know, and
Yeah.
just really, really practicing the basic scratching stuff. It is going to happen. It's something
Yeah.
I've been focusing on, and it just must happen.
Yeah,
and,
dope.
Yeah, of course I have to win, so.
There you go. So take your time, make it better,
Yeah.
and at a certain point, we're going to see that happen. Look, we're going to talk more, especially when this is over and we can finally meet up again. We will do this, but I've learned a lot right here. A lot of similarities that I kind of knew about, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And just hearing more about the origin to me is always great. I think people can also learn from it. You know, like in any situation that it is possible to start, even if you don't have your own equipment, there might be options to still get started. Even though now it is different, they don't need to have all of that.
Mm-hmm.
At that time it was harder, but still, I'm glad I know this. This gives me a new insight. So we will do this again. But for now, I want to thank you for being here in the Thalia. We're in a club, even though we're not playing. But now I know our first gig is actually going to be at the same place. So that's cool as well. So thank you for doing this and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. It's
Of
been an
course.
honor.
And that's it. We're going to party.